about the difference between a drug's price and its true price. The difference between what you pay and what it actually costs to produce that drug. Now, that true price is made up of this: the active ingredient and other chemicals, their formulation into a pill, packaging, shipping, and a profit margin. So those are the things that actually go into producing the pill, including, by the way, a profit margin for the pharmaceutical company that produced it. That sort of profit margin then allows them to pay the employees, pay for future research and development of other drugs. Now, there's often, though, a very big difference between that true cost and the actual cost on the market for some drugs. And in many cases, it's up to 600 times more expensive than it needs to be. Let's talk about some specifics. The analysis that was done recently figures the true cost of a year's supply of Gleevec used to treat certain kinds of leukemia at $159. That's over 1 year. But the yearly price tag for Gleevec is $106,322 in the U.S. and $31,867 in the UK. Meanwhile, a generic version costs about $8,000 in Brazil. So that generic version in Brazil is already massively overpriced compared to the true price of that drug. And the American version, it's a war crime what is going on with what you're being charged there. It's something like 90 times more expensive. Now, that's not the only drug, of course, that this is true of. The Liverpool group did the same analysis for 4 other drugs in the same class. These are called tyrosine kinase inhibitors, or TKIs. They're used to treat lung, breast, liver, pancreas, and thyroid cancer, as well as leukemias. The true yearly cost of these 4 drugs ranges from $236 for Tarceva to $4,022 for Tykerb, but their U.S. sticker prices range from $78,000 to $135,000, an absolutely huge disparity. Now, one of the reasons that we're talking about this is because the American public recently became outraged over the fact that Daraprim was recently raised in price from $13 a pill to over $750 per pill when a new company bought the rights to sell the drug. Now, they have walked back that new price, although we don't know what the eventual price will be. But this is not rare. This is the case in many drugs, and these drugs, in many cases, are literally the matter of life and death. Daraprim, for instance, deals with toxoplasmosis infection, generally needs to be treated in those with HIV, and in the case of the other drugs we've been talking about, those are for dealing with leukemia and other forms of cancer. Now, they will say, the pharma companies, that yeah, they have to be over the price of these true prices. It's because of research and development. It costs a lot to develop those drugs, and that is certainly true, and that's why they factor in the profit margin in that true price. And certainly, the eventual price that it'll be sold for will be somewhat higher than that. But if you believe that that's the entirety of the difference between a $159 yearly supply of pills and well over $100,000, then you are overpaying if you're buying that, as with so many other things with drug prices. And again, life and death. We're talking about people who can't afford this eventually dying. Now, could we deal with this? Yes, some European countries already include a variety of different policies that place caps or limits on the prices that can be charged for various drugs, drug price controls. That's not the policy in the U.S., but it is the policy in many comparable countries in the West. Now, right now, President Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders all support various policies that would seek to accomplish something like the European examples. And so it is certainly possible to fix this problem. The only question is when the American people will finally make clear that when it comes to rising drug prices and the rising number of people who die because they can't afford to pay those prices, enough is indeed finally enough. And that's my final judgment.